Thank you very much, Professor.
You're
I think
welcome.
you are the highest profile
Thank you.
on my podcast up until now because of your deep knowledge, and you are such a distinguished professor. I found that many Indonesian media have interviewed you on the issue of Palestine, Islam, and the Gaza.
Yeah.
I found you are a associate permanent lecturer in the Arabic Study Program, Faculty of Cultural Sciences, University of Indonesia, with a functional position of associate professor. Also serve as a chair of postgraduate study program in Eastern and Islamic studies. You have such a distinguished resume, I think. Yon Machmudi,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Can you also introduce yourself a little bit to our audience?
Yeah, my name Yon Machmudi. Actually, I came from the town in Eastern Java in Jombang. Jombang is, if you come to the Java society and related to the Islam, then the Jombang is the town that become the center of Islamic organization Nahdlatul Ulama. So yeah, I came from this tradition. Then I study at the University of Indonesia,
Yeah.
and now I'm currently holding the position of the head of the postgraduate program in Middle Eastern Islamic Studies, School of Strategic and Global Studies, Universitas Indonesia.
What do you teach in university?
Yeah, I'm teaching the history and politics of the Middle East. Also teaching about the basic knowledge on the Islam, geopolitics in the Middle East, Indonesia, Middle East relations, the current Islamic movement in Asia and Middle East. So all, yeah, those things about the Islam in general and also Middle East. Yeah.
Also, you are the right expert to come to when it comes to the
Okay.
question, or it comes to the problem of Middle East. So when we talk about the Middle East, the first thing comes to my mind is war.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
always a war or conflict going on there. And we know that there is a war going on between Israel and Hamas.
Yeah.
Is it Hamas or Palestine, to be precise?
Yeah, in general, as we talk about the Middle East, and you mentioned that the general phenomenon of the Middle East, the conflict and war, I think because the Middle East, the land, the country are full of the resources, but then the external powers try to have the influence through the hard powers. So this has become the problem. If there are negotiations, business in very regular thing, then I don't think that will be kind of the conflict. So there are so many interests there. But talking about the Palestinian Israel, I prefer to to see the conflict between the Israelis and Palestinian. Because this is the issue of which we come to the root cause is because of the occupation, and the world also witnessed that the Gaza and West Bank they call as the occupied land. It means that there is entity who occupy, and there is also people who are occupied by other power. So the conflict actually about the land and the Gaza, the people of Gaza right now, they try to hold their land because the only thing that they have now, they don't have the home, they don't have the house, everything is destroyed. So the only thing that they can hold is their land. So that's why most of the Gaza people don't want to move, from their land, even though the bombardings, killing, attack, and other things very high explosive that kill 27,000 civilian, then they still there. So I think that the main issue is not just to be simplification in the name of the Hamas, because the people who involved in the resistance group join the fight is not only come from the Hamas, but also from the other groups, Jihad Islam, or even the socialist, the left wings group also join the resistance that they call as against the occupier. Then this is the issue of the occupation. So
As of 30th January 2024, that's just yesterday. No, the day before yesterday. Over 28,000 people, including 26,637 Palestinians, mostly women and children, have been killed in Israel-Hamas war, including 85 journalists like me. And the war started because on the 7th October 2023, 1,139 Israelis and foreign nationals, including 764 civilians, were killed and 248 persons taken hostage during the initial attack on Israel from the Gaza Strip. So basically, Hamas attacked Israel first, then Israel counterattack, and now the war's just going on until now. So I have so many questions about the war. Why Hamas attacked Israel? The Jewish people used to be the ones who were being perpetrated during the World War II, or maybe even long before that. So they are the victims, but now they are the perpetrators. People can say that. Some people say that they are committing genocide in the Gaza Strip. What is going on there? Why there's a land of contention between the Palestinians and the Israelis?
If we want to understand the October 7 attack, so it is not kind of the vacuum event, so must relate to the previous event, or the years probably and decade of the event, when the Palestinian people, in particular in Gaza, have been facing the condition under like we call the large prisoners. There is no access to the outside. There is no access to the food, no access to the very small electricity, because all kind of they make Gaza isolated from the world. And in the West Bank also there is so many discrimination, apartheid, and settlement still going on, new building, remove all the Palestinian house. Then if we count it, probably every day there is victim of the kill, shooting, and then if we accumulate, then the whole thing become very huge. But the public just focusing on what happened in October 7, but they do not try to see what really happened from the 1988, when the Israel state first established that almost 700,000 civilian Palestinians removed from their country. Then right now they became the refugees. So the refugees is the second refugees within the Palestine. It is very very bad condition. If we see in Gaza, there are some refugees camp within the Gaza, within the West Bank. So if the refugees then removed from the Gaza, then they will they would experience the second removal, right? The first from the land occupied by Israel, then they remove to the Gaza, and then right now the government of the Israel try to remove them from the Gaza. So this is very very sad condition. So then of course we do not try to kind to see that yes, attack is okay, but we if we want to see the real condition, for instance, the Israel said yes, because of this October 7 attack, then Hamas should be dismantled. But because of the how many attack done by the Israel, is there any response from the government or from the other country that the Israel should be dismantled too? So this is, I think, then not fair, to see what in the bad situation, no food, no drug, and right now even the UNRWA, the refugees agency within the United Nations also accused part of the Hamas.
Yeah.
So, then 11 countries do not want to support funding. They say that the funding of the UN agency. So the situation become very bad. The assistance came from outside, are not allowed to come. And the agency within the Gaza right now is stopped. And the bombarding still going on.
Yeah.
So we cannot, imagine what really happened right now.
The World Health Organization says the Gaza Strip is being starved to death because the people there don't really have food. Sometimes they eat animal food.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
bad situation there. So why that piece of land belong to Israel back in the history, or why the Palestinian people were there, and who are the Palestinian people?
Yeah, actually, for the purpose of the peace, we don't need to say that this belong to whom, but they are already exist. So we have to accept the Jewish, we have to accept the Muslim, and we have to accept the Christian. The problem is, do we want to share the land or not? Do we want to share to live peace or together, or just we want to live alone and to practice the apartheid? So if we see the history before the first war, yeah, actually at the time under the Ottoman, yeah, and between the Jewish, Christian and Muslim live in peace and together. They celebrate their religious activity together, in the neighborhood of the Al-Quds or the Jerusalem. They live in peace between Jewish, Christian, and also the Muslim. But when the the groups called the Zionists and want to live, and claim that the only entity, the group that own this very historic place, only the Jewish, then this has become the problem, because they have to repel, they have to remove other group. Of course, we see that previous 2500 before the Christian, the group of the Jewish, the Canaan, it is also considered to be part of the Muslim history. They live there, but then there is war between the Jewish, the Israel, with the ruler there. Then they move and make diaspora, leave those things, but because of they got the bad treatment in the Europe, in particular in the East Europe country, then they want to have the peace land. And they claim that yes, our ancestor 2500 ago lived in that area, so we want to stay there. But if you, how do you want to return to place that you are not born there and claim 2500 years, even before the Christian? So I think this is the reality that we need to consider. Is the question is, do we ready to live together with the other groups, live peacefully regardless of their religions, and share the land and make kind of the cooperation, or we just want to stay because we are under pressure, we are repressed, we are got killed in the past, then we have the right, to kill, other people
Yeah.
for the sake of the, our experience bad treatment, in the past. So I think we have to move on, to see the situation, and try to live in harmony and peace.
Uh, who is Hamas?
Yeah, as we talk the Hamas is not only the military, not only the troop. The Hamas is the social organization. They have the school. They have the people living there. They have the health center. They have, because of the Hamas, the Gaza are, the Israel occupation and settlement, left the Gaza.
Yeah.
Then all the administration, organized by the Hamas. And in 2006, they won the elections. So the Hamas also the political party, because the Israel and the West country, did not like the Hamas. Then they did not recognize the Hamas at the time when they won the election. So I think that the problem. So if the Israel want to dismantle the Hamas, want to kill the Hamas, to finish Hamas, it means that about 80% of the total population, because we see the reality. Who fought the Hamas? Yeah? Not only the army, part of the someone who complicit in the attack, but also general people in the market, in the hospital, also sympathizer of the Hamas. So do you want to clean the Hamas? Meaning, so you want to make left only 20% of the total population and make resettlement of the Israel. So this is, I think, will create another problem.
So now who is the? I think Hamas is designated as a terrorist group by the United States. I don't know, but also by the United Nations.
It is proposed by the United States and the Western European country, but the Arab country does not, do not recognize, except I think the Saudi and the United States of the Arab, consider. But the Qatar, have the Hamas their office, in Qatar. And I think very different between the terrorist organization ISIS and Al Qaeda with the Hamas. Hamas operate only in Gaza and West Bank. They don't have kind of branches, army, and they resist only against the Zionists in Israel. So
So who is now the official representative or government of the Palestine state?
The representative, of course, is the Palestinian Authority that came from the Fatah, different from the Hamas, because the Israel and the Western favor to have the Fatah rather than the Hamas groups.
Fatah and Hamas are different entities.
Yeah.
How are they different? In what aspects? Why do the Western countries don't like? Why don't Western countries like Hamas, and why they prefer to this?
Because the Hamas is resistant group. The Fatah want to have the cooperation, more cooperative rather than the Hamas. So the Hamas is resistant, and Hamas, I think, grew out from the event of the Intifada, when the people of the Palestinian try to fight against the Israel using stone and with the whatever they have, they make resistance in 1988, I think. Then in 1993 there is at the time before the 1993, all the people in Palestine against the Israel have the resistance. But in 1993 there is what we call the peace agreement, Oslo peace agreement. Mostly at the time, the PLO at the time also is like Hamas, resistant, have the arms and also fight against but then they have the agreement, to recognize the Fatah PLO at the time considered to be the terrorist organization. But because they, can sit, in the table to have the peace, then the label removed and become recognized. But I see the problem is when the 1993, 1994 until 95, there is agreement Oslo that will deliver the state for the Palestinian. But after that, after the killing of the Israel Prime Minister, Yitzhak Rabin, who signed the peace agreement, then after that there is no talk about the peace agreement that consider the people of the Palestinian. All the agreement, all the negotiation mostly only touch the issue of the Israel. So this is, I think,
Who killed the prime minister?
That someone who killed from prime minister came from the Jewish right wing groups.
Oh,
So then there is no elites and also leaders in Israel who want to be leading in the peace initiative.
so the Jewish people killed their own leader just to not to have a peace.
Yeah, because they don't want to have the peace with the Palestinian. So
Is it a religious thing or just because of money?
and I don't know what really happened. So
Yeah.
because of this event, the murder, the killing of the prime minister, so no leaders, the Israel leader who dare, to be, try to have the peace with the Palestinian because the risk is very high. And then after that, the government occupied by the right-wing groups, the religious right-wing group that they consider that, Palestinian Israel is the Jewish state. So it means that anyone who has no Jewish, identity then cannot consider to be the citizen of the Israel. So then they practice the apartheid. Then from then there is no deal about the peace with the Palestinian. So I think since 1995 till now there is no effort, to make good relation between Palestinian and the Israel people. So the tension, the hot situation become growing and growing, and
But the current government of Palestine, Fatah, Fatah wants cooperation with Israel. What kind of cooperation? How do they cooperate?
More cooperative because they are very dependent on the Israel for the funding, because the tax taken from the Palestinian goes first to the Israel government,
Okay.
then distribute to the Palestinian Authority. If there is resistance, there is demonstration, then the Israel can hold the funding.
So why doesn't the fund go to other countries instead? Other Arab countries, Middle East countries instead?
Yeah, because the Israel still believe that the Palestinian, the West Bank and Gaza is part of the Israel. So they want to control all that thing. So just they give the authority in administrative things for the Palestinian, but the general the Palestinian want to have the full independent, with very authoritative, in terms of how they rule their country, not depend on the Israel. So I think this is the weakness of the Palestinian Authority is very much depend on the Israel, because if the Israel stop the funding, stop the electricity, stop the fuel, everything they cannot live, in Palestine. So yeah, this is, I think, bad situation to make the Palestinian Authority depend on the Israel, while the Palestinian Authority have the very weak relation with the Palestinian people who suffer for the long times.
There is a blockade in the Gaza Strip. What is a blockade? What do they do to implement the blockade?
Yeah, it is, I think, the total blockage. Yeah, they build the wall, they close the access in the sea road, because the Gaza actually have the sea, but then only within kilometers belong to the Gaza, but access to the outside belong to the Israel. So the only way is through the gate in Rafah. This is the only gate, from the Gaza, from the Egypt, controlled by Egypt, but in the Gaza side controlled by the Israel. So if you want to bring anything related to the material food, then should be inspected by the Israel. They are not allowed to bring any related to materials that to be considered can use for the arms, anything, even air conditioning and other thing they are not allowed to bring there. So only basic food are not allowed, even though the Gaza also cannot transport or bring their own plantation in terms of the farmers, cannot bring their own product outside, because this is only gate that any times they can close the gate without reason.
So there's not enough electricity. Is there internet there?
They have internet and they build their own internet, but some also still rely on the Israel's company, because of course there is still a communication between the Israel people who doing business in the in Gaza for the business purpose, but it's very limited.
It's like living in a big prison.
This is the real big prison. If so the people don't have future. They consider that we can die today or tomorrow and whatever,
because right now it's just the Israeli army is just shooting to kill. They don't care about if it's women or children, and people are dying. And I don't know, if I can't imagine that living in a big prison like this. You don't actually have a future, but do people want to live there and go to another place?
Because the only things that attached to them is the land. The history of Palestine will still there if they can hold the only pieces left for them. So if they want to move, actually they want to move, but after that there is no history of the Palestinian. So they want to consider still live there as long as the Palestinian still there.
How long have been the Palestinians being in that place?
From the history, or
from the history.
I think the long time. If we consider when the Jewish left the Holy Land, then some of them convert to the Christian, right? Then after that the Islam came. I think 700 centuries. Then some Jewish convert to Muslim. So actually there are two Jewish in terms of the ethnic. Jewish who have the Jewish as the religions, Christian Jewish and the Muslim Jewish. But because of the Zionists, whoever convert to Muslim or Christianity, then they consider to the Arab, the Christian Arab and also the Muslim Arab. So for those who just came early, coming from the Europeans, considered to be the pure Jewish, and become defender of the Zionists, even though they already marry with the European. So actually, if we see the profile of the Jewish, it's more close to the European rather than to the Arabs, where the location is more close to the Arab rather than to the Western or the European. So this is also, I think, why the European people, the West, then close to be, prefer to defend the Israel rather than with the Arab, because of because of the experience that they did the bad things, to the Jewish, but also there is relation because the similars in terms of culture and in terms of the thing.
But I think it's really a bit sad seeing the Israelis people, they used to be the victims. They play the victim card, maybe. They're the victim of the perpetrators by the, Germany.
German,
there was massacre during the World War II, and now they are doing such kind of thing. I don't really understand why. But the blockade and the terrible situation in the Gaza Strip, what did the international society do to stop the Israelis?
Yeah, if we consider the international society should refer to the United Nations.
Yeah.
But of course, United Nations, mostly controlled by the Western. So we do have France, Then we have British, United States. Of course, we have the Russia and the China. But every move to condemn or to solve the problem that considered to be not favor to the Israel, automatically veto by the America. So this is, I think, there is no future. There is no hope to see what the solution for the Palestinian if the international community cannot work together to solve the problem of the Palestinians.
For the two-state solution, what's the two-state solution?
Yeah, of course, if we see the reality right now, there is Jewish living there, there's Palestinian living there, so they should be, have the right to build their own state. Yeah, Jewish with the Israel, then Arab with what we call the Palestinian.
Yeah.
And they live in peace. The problem is there is kind of the label such as that the Palestinian doesn't want to have the state because they want to remove the Israel. But I think this is not true because they are very also realistic actually. If they are given the future, I think they will choose the best future for them and leave the resistance. But because the Israel closed the option for the independent, they doesn't want to have the Palestinian to be independent, but they doesn't either have their people, so they treat them to live. So such it's better for the Palestinian to leave the place, then the Israel can occupy all things. But if the international can force the Israel, to consider two-state solution, and you want to live in peace, so you have to give chance for the Palestinian to be independent, to rule their own country. So this will be, alternative rather than using the military operation, then force them to recognize the Israel.
So is Palestine now a real country or just a concept?
There is, I think, if we talk about the state, the Palestine is not state. In practice, there is no such thing that revert the existence of the state. They are blockaded. They have, even in the West Bank, there is limitation of the mobility of the people. every section, if you want to move from the place to the place, there is always a military checkpoint.
Yeah.
So they can close. They can close. Whatever they want, and the relation is very bad because they suspect the Palestinian. To kill the Israel, and also the Palestinian always get harassed. If even the violence, then the situation is very, very bad, and the apartheid applied there. So there is no such thing considered to be state actually.
What should you do to establish a country if the people there, Palestinians, they want their own country, they have this piece of land, they have their own government? Can Israel stop the Palestinians to have their own country? Why don't the international societies like Indonesia, China, and other countries just recognize the official state of Palestine and make it a real thing?
Yeah, some country already recognize the Palestinians, but the Western country till now, doesn't recognize the Palestine as the state. So I think that the problem. China, I think, recognize both with Palestinian and the Israel. Indonesia only recognize Palestinian. And in this condition, the Israel want other country to recognize the Israel, but doesn't want they recognize the Palestinian. So I think it is not fair. But we know the history, the strong relation between Israel and the U.S. is very strong.
Yeah.
So if we give the destiny of the Palestinian, the future of the Palestinian to the U.S., I think there is no hope, because the U.S. always let's say the blind support, to give the blind support to the Israel. So I think should be other powers, independent, to also play a significant role. For instance, the China, I think China is time, to be more, forced to have the solution for the Palestinian, to have two-state solution. Russia also to be more, and to accommodate all the many powers, to contribute. Because if we see the great powers right now, they do not do the great job. So we cannot rely on the great power, because what really happened right now do not show anything that this is the great job that they do for the humanity, for the civilization, to create the peace. But they always back up the Israel. So I think we need to change the situation.
Why does the U.S. always support Israel, no matter what, even if genocide? You can say genocide is happening right now.
Because the influence of Jewish in United States is very strong. So they almost in the business, and also the elites, leaderships, they occupy the significant role in the U.S. The problem is, for instance, if you are in the U.S. talking about the defending Palestinian and criticizing the Israel, so the issue is you consider to be anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
So this is very tragic. So whatever you, regardless of your religions, even the Christian Arab, when they criticize the Israel, then they can consider to be anti-Semitism, and you can be removed from your position because of the very strong oppress.
That is the cancel culture in the United States. The political correctness. People don't dare to say things they want. They are being afraid of, being criticized as anti-Semitism.
They are free. They free of speech. But in terms of the criticizing the Israel, they are not free, because something can happen if they
I don't think most Americans really know what's happening in Gaza Strip right now, because it's such a double standard if you always talk about humanity,
mm,
but you don't blame or you don't stop Israel from killing civilians and stop humanitarian aid to access
mhm.
Gaza Strip. It's such a horrible thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But what kind of role could Israel provide to the United States?
Yeah, they can also help to secure the election in the United States, and also consider, whoever favor to the Israel, I think, will got privilege, to win the election. And most of the president of the United States always claim that, yeah, I am the Jewish, and to show, their identity, not to show their criticism to Israel. And of course the funding, yeah, business mostly, because of the Jewish lobby very strong, then can determine actually what really happened in America. But we see right now the progress when the people in general and the mass, in the street, want to see the justice. They don't want their tax to be sent, to the Israel to kill the innocent people and complicit for the genocide. Then this awareness, the growing awareness of the society, also become very strong. Then that also happen in the Western country, when everyone can access the information, even though the information are limited and close, but they can access whatever the sources. But it will open, the eyes of the people to see what really happened, the tragedy of the humanity. Yeah.
Um, the United Nations says any actions that oppose the two-solution state must be resolutely opposed or criticized. But the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, said there will be no two-state solution or Palestinian state under his watch. What's the way out of this Israel-Hamas war right now?
Yeah. This is, I think, the good progress when the U.S., the British, and France also recognize and return to the two-state solution, because before they considered the two-state solution is not significant and not necessary. But right now, after the war, they consider the only thing to solve the problem is two-state solution. But the problem is the right-wing government under the Netanyahu, still consider there is no option, for the state for the Palestinian. So we see we will see what really happened in Israel, because there are also many demonstrations against the Netanyahu to step down and accuse them abuse of the power, and the family of the hostage also want their family back to the Israel. They don't want to be sacrificed for the war, to be to die for fulfill the mission of the Netanyahu, but they have to sacrifice and sacrifice their family. So they also ask the Netanyahu to bring safely their family, whatever the condition, even through the negotiation with the Hamas. So the I think from the society, people of the Israel who want to have the peace, and they give up with this condition and want to have in the future live in harmony and peace, I think also become trigger for actually to promote the peace, and also to bring the two-state solution in reality. And the Arab people also say that they don't want to build the Gaza if Israel still occupy the land. So yeah, signal for two-state solution, I think, very strong, and yeah, we hope that the Western country can also push the Israel leaders, to consider the state of the Palestinian.
Before the Israel-Hamas war, I think Netanyahu was facing great pressure from his own people
Yeah.
because there was mass parade or anti-government, anti-Netanyahu parade uh, in the streets because of the legal reform.
Legal reform, yeah.
Do you think that Netanyahu will stick to his post or still in premiership or prime ministership after the war or during the war?
I think we will see the within months, probably after the election in Israel, and we see that Netanyahu will no longer in power because so many charges against him on the corruption, on the reform law that make the people are not satisfied with their freedom because the government can do whatever they want to
Yeah.
protect their regime. So yeah, but the Netanyahu tried to convince their people through the war they can live in peace, but in reality the war already, I mean, gone for more than 3 months,
Yeah.
but there is no result to bring the hostages come home, and also the victims killed, the soldiers of the Israel killed also very big in terms of the numbers, and there is no total victory for the Israel, and the support of the international, I think, diminishing because of the Israel done in Gaza, practicing the genocide. Yeah.
I think Israel is now also attacking several other countries like Syria and Lebanon.
Mhm.
Why are these countries involved? And who are the Houthis? Who are the other parties?
Yeah, I think there is two groups in Middle East regarding their relation to the Israel. First, the resistant groups. Resistant group, I think, initiated by the Iran with its proxies in Lebanon, Hezbollah, Houthi in Yemen, in Iraq. Yeah. Also, there is other groups in Syria. So this is always resist to the Israel. But other countries usually have the cooperation. Tend to have the cooperation with the Israel. If we see the normalizations, yeah, between the United States and almost with the Saudi Arabia. So the only country who support the Hamas, yeah, in terms of the resistance and probably also provide the arms, yeah, are the Iran with its proxies. But of course, the Israel doesn't want to have war at the same times with the Hamas in Gaza and
Yeah.
West Bank. At the same time with the Houthi, with the Lebanon, Hezbollah on Iran. So will be complicated. So try to reduce the war. And by focusing on Iran, also the Israel and US want to ask the Arab solidarity against the Iran. So they want to change that the troublemaker is the Iran, not the Israel. But I think it cannot change because they see the reality what happened in the Gaza is very bad. So yeah, they still have more support to Palestinian. Yeah.
But the Houthis now is also attacking the U.S., right?
Yeah, yeah.
Their ships, and I think in one of their military base in Jordan, or
Jordan, yeah.
where three American soldiers were killed.
Yeah.
Do you think the United States is going to attack Iran, and is it possible for the war to expand to, you know?
I think the United States tried to prevent Iran to be involved in this war because the consequence is very big. You know that Iran also have relation to the China because of the economic relation of resources in terms of the oil and gas, and also Iran provide the what arms to Russia. Then if directly Israel or the United States strike against the intervene to the Iran land, then we'll invite other powers to come. So I think that the United States doesn't want to make the war complicated. So try to focusing on the Gaza, focusing to eliminate the Hamas, and make them treat them as the terrorist group, as they consider ISIS they success to remove the ISIS in Syria, they in Al Qaeda in Afghanistan. But I think at this stage they do not succeeded to remove Hamas, and to consider as the terrorist groups, and they can kill the Hamas. But because the reality, if they kill civilians,
Because, like you said, 80% of Palestinians support Hamas. You can't kill other people.
So
Because they are the victims. They are not the perpetrators. Going back to Jerusalem, why this place is such a place of contention? All three religions claim this place as its holy place.
this is the contentious place because there is a group that want to dominate the place. Yes, there is also the Holy Land for the Christian, Holy Land for the Muslim, and also Holy Land for the Solomon Temple. But if we want to live, I think we can arrange which part belong to the Muslim, and they can also visit, not try to invade or to occupy the site of the religious or the Holy Land. Because if we can arrange them, because the pilgrimage is very big, very strong, want to visit there either from the Muslim, Jewish, and the Christianity. So we can, I think we can to share the land, but because of there is the religious right wing in Israel that they consider this is the whole things belong to the Solomon, belong to the Jewish. No other people can live, practice the religion there. Then this has become a problem. We hope that there is change in the Israel when more moderate or progressive Jewish who can rule and make change, rather than they surrender to the right wing religious very conservative groups.
What's the connection between Jerusalem and Islam?
The Jerusalem considered to be the first Holy Land because the prophet Abraham considered to be the prophet of the Muslim. So the whole prophets, actually from the Adams to the Muhammad prophet, are still part of the Islamic tradition. So we respect the Abraham, we respect the Moses, we respect the Jesus as the prophet who sent by the God to spread the teaching of the God in this earth. So there is no hostility, there is no kind of hatred, each other, because we consider come from the same root, from the Abrahamic tradition. But of course, because of the political issue, groups want to dominate each others, and then the issue situation become the complicated. So yeah, I think we need to return, yeah, to our tradition, to have the religion as the tool to spread the peace, to make, life become more easy, harmony, not to make religion become the barriers, yeah, for us. So because of we part of the Abrahamic, so there is chance to bridge, I think, yeah, not to. I think it's better to build the bridge, yeah, rather than to build the wall or barriers. So yeah.
For the upcoming election in the U.S., do you think Donald Trump will stop the war in Israel and Hamas?
I think the good things of the Donald Trump, even though there is also negative things, is they very pragmatic. They can deal with the situation not based on the ideology or the closeness with other group, but they consider this is will bring opportunity for business or not, because by putting side with the Israel, actually U.S. are kind of marginalized, yeah, by the other internationals countries, because just make them put on the corner with the Israel and the U.S. alone.
Yeah.
But of course, this is not make good things for the U.S. So in this issue, I think, yeah, Donald Trump more realistic, even though he also have the very controversial, yeah, issue, yeah, regarding of that. But of course, if they open the negotiations, yeah.
But during his last presidency, he recognized Jerusalem as a capital of Israel. That is also not a good thing to the Palestinians.
Yeah, yeah. This is also become something that make the Palestinians not happy, because the U.S. under the Donald Trump recognized the Jerusalem. Of course, the fate destiny of the Palestinian, I think, not only to be surrendered to the U.S., but we need to ask, yeah, other country, other state, to contribute, yeah, to solve the problem. Because if we only focusing on the United States, then yeah, the Palestinian always become the victim. Sometimes because of the election in the U.S., yeah, they want to try to be close to the Palestinian probably, but then after that, yeah, they leave the Palestinian and create policy that is not good for Palestinians. So yeah, I think more big countries, state, I think, should take part in solving this problem, not only dominated by the U.S. and its allies.
Talking about the Middle East issue, I think, especially after the war between Hamas and Israel started, I see that China has done a bigger role compared with before, because several foreign ministers, including the foreign minister of Indonesia, Retno, went to Beijing.
Right. Yeah.
And China also brokered a deal between Saudis and Iran to make them reestablish diplomatic relations. What kind of role do you think China can play now and in the future in the Middle East?
Yeah, I think if the China can make a re-establishment between the Saudi and Iran, and we have never imagined before that those countries can, have normalization, then China also should, can have the big role in mediate the Israel and Palestine, because China have relationship with the Israel and also with the recognize the the Palestinian. So because the good relation between the Palestinian establishment of the Palestinian and Israel in terms of the relationship, or just call the, I think the most important thing is normalization between Palestinian and Israel, not normalization between Israel with other country and forget the Palestinian, because the people who suffer of the are Palestinian. But why the Israel make normalization with the Arab? So I think they should have the normalization first with the Palestinian, and China I think can take part, to bring them to have a negotiation and to create a future more stable peace, and it will be very good for these regions, in terms of the economic security and preventing conflict in the future if both sides can re-establish the good relations.
I think China has several concepts that, like the community of shared future for mankind, the initiative of global security, the initiative of global prosperity,
No
and,
intervention.
no intervention. What's China's advantage compared with the U.S.?
Of course, the advantage of China, the China does not force its will through the military. The China used the soft power. The China used the negotiation instead of war or military intervention, while the America always proud of their arm, proud of their weapons to solve the problem. So this has become, I think, the diplomacy cooperation become the future of the Middle East. If we want to see the prosperity in Middle East, in order also to achieve the peace in the region. And I think because of this has become the alternative. The Arabs, the Middle East country, I think, interested in this issue, economic cooperation without any intervention in the national or internal domestic affair. But U.S., often to intervene, the dynamic affair and even the changing of the ruling, in the region. So the intervention, I think, become the problem of the U.S. In general, and I think China, provide the alternative scheme for the alternative. They can sit at the same level. So this is very important. I think the same level, not to be considered I'm the super four and you have to follow us. So the hegemonic thing, I think, this is not need to be end in the future. So the economic cooperations for the progress of the country, I think, become alternative. That's why I see that Saudi, Iran join BRICS, as the alternative. And the economic, I think, very important. And I think America mostly care on security rather than the economic, the progress of the economic in the region.
Most Western media say China is going to be a hegemonic country, but I don't think that they really know Chinese. Because from my perspective, most Chinese are really moderate, mild-tempered. They don't really care about dominating the world. They have this national pride.
Right.
They want China to be the strongest country in the world. But what's wrong about that? I think Indonesia people are also happy to see that Indonesia is becoming stronger and stronger, right? Because China used to be, before the becoming independent in 1949, China experienced this so-called century of accumulation. They used to be a big power, a big power in the Tang Dynasty, the
Mhm.
Han Dynasty, maybe even in the early Qing Dynasty, Ming Dynasty. But then the World War One, the World War Two, China was almostly occupied by the Japanese, by other foreign countries. So Chinese people always remember this history of humiliation. But in terms of personality, I think, or caricature,
Mhm.
I think China is really moderate or mild. They want to, we can sit together, we can talk,
Yeah.
we can negotiate, and let's talk business.
Mhm.
China is good at business. Chinese people, you can say that realistic or
Yep.
practical.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
because we are not a religious country. We
Mhm.
don't really involved in religious stuff, in religion. We respect your religion.
Mhm.
We respect each religion. So soft power is a tool that China can use to, bridge all the differences.
Mhm.
Talking about religion, I'm not a religious person. I respect all the religions there, but I'm always curious about God. Uh, the Christianity has a God. Islam has a God. What's the difference between the two gods?
Yeah. A- Actually, the Christianity and Islam came from the same history. The prophet of Jesus considered to be in Islam as the prophet, and but in Christianity considered to be God. Yeah. And according to the Muslim, after the Jesus, the God sent another messengers,
Oh,
and probably the Christianity do not recognize it, as if that the Jewish also do not recognize the Jesus, yeah, at the same
yeah.
times. But yeah, because of the followers of two things sometimes most considered to more, I mean, interested in uh, politics, probably, yeah, relation each other, do not focusing more on spirituality. Then there is differences, yeah, even end to the conflicts between each other. But if we focusing on our spirituality, yeah, that we worship the God, and God also guide us to live in harmony, to respect each other, no hostile, yeah, with each other, because all the creature is created by the God and have the same similar role in this earth. Then I think we can avoid any kind of hostility, hatred, yeah, conflicts, yeah, because we have no interest, yeah, such interest, that we may control each other, we influence each other with something that against the teaching of God. So yeah, uh, yeah, in general they are actually came from the same tradition, but then, yeah, develops, yeah, into different, yeah, history, I think. Yeah.
Why do you think God is important to us?
Yeah, because we as the human being is not, you know, uh, have enough power actually, because there is thing that we cannot consider, to solve the problems. We are under depressed situation, so we need some things that can't live up, can bring up, from the very down situation, to be more consider the reality. So the teaching of the God to understand the reality, then they can also bring the justice, yeah, to others, and have the guideline for human beings. So yeah, because we believe that we are created, so we have to follow the manuals, yeah, regulation by who create us, yeah. Not just to follow our, yeah, will, yeah, our emotion and other things. So yeah, still in certain situation, yeah, we need, God, to guide us. So this is, I think, yeah, what the people, why the people, yeah, need religions, yeah, to regulate or to make their life more in order.
For the non-religious or atheist people, they always ask, "Where is God? Who is God? Who created God?" Can religion answer these questions, or is totally different things? It cannot be answered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we believe that in this earth there is, something that beyond our capacity,
Yeah.
who can rule and who can make happen. Of course, because of things happen casually, because of the yeah, the cause, yeah, the cause and the problem caused by something. But we do believe that, yeah, there is something that also make thing happen. If, yeah, disaster, not only, yeah, we consider, to be part of the natural disaster, but also there is, things that regulate, yeah, those natures, so that there must be the hand of
Oh,
the
yeah.
God, yeah, to, yeah, make all in order. Because we, in the Muslim, probably as human beings, as individuals, I think cannot manage all the things. So there must be who, more have strong almighty, yeah, can do some things, yeah. But of course, yeah, God create the earth, create all things in good things. So become our responsibility to preserve, yeah, to make the earth, become good, not to destroy. So yeah, this thing, the relationship between the who create and how the responsibility the creature, yeah, to the God, yeah, to worship, to, yeah, to make the God always, yeah, in our heart or in, yeah,
Uh,
individual.
Maybe this is a not question, but I want to ask, what's the most important teaching from God, in your opinion?
Yeah, the most important teaching is the God create us as the human being who is responsible to, I mean, yeah, to manage the earth, because the task is not given to the other creature, not to the animals or to other creature, but the human being who have the reason, given the reason, skill and other thing, able to things, yeah, create things. So yeah, that's why anything that we create, yeah, should make the earth, always in order, in harmony, not to create something that make destruction, yeah, distract other creature. So the human being also should protect uh, the weak creatures, other weak creatures, yeah, animal and other thing. Although probably we need also to protect human being who are probably not capable to do something. So this is the responsibility given to the human being. I think the most important aspect of the God teaching to the human being to be responsible in this earth. Yeah.
And I have been in Indonesia for 2 years, and I know there's Islamic boarding schools, Islamic universities here in Indonesia. Before, I didn't really know about. So, what's the life like in Islamic boarding schools and in the University of Islam?
Yeah, if we see the Islamic boarding school, they live in the same buildings. They spend 24 hours there, supervised by the teacher or guidance, who always supervise them in order to quote unquote to discipline them, that so they can live in according to the God teachings. So it is kind of try to internalizations the teaching of the God to the human being. So they spend 24 hours a day. Then
From primary school to high
there
school?
there are many level, but mostly from the after elementary school, 12 years above, but there are also parents who send only to memorize Quran and other things, but mostly after elementary school, high school, they start to live in boarding school.
Do they also study other subjects like math, science, other?
Yeah, they before they only if we see before the Indonesian independent, there were many boarding school, but only focusing on religious teaching. But then right now they develop and transform the boarding school not only for the religious but also for the scientific natural knowledge. They even they also learn maths, physics, health, and other things, so they can use the religious teaching can be compatible with the reality, what the demand of the society, that they can live in harmony.
Are these schools free or you have to pay?
There are some free, but mostly no, because of the private. No much funding from the government. Then the student should pay for the tuition. But for those who are not able to pay, usually they get the free, and they can live there in the to get the education and also to live in dormitory. But there is also some institution who provide funding to help those who are in needy person, to get the education in boarding school.
Most of the students attending boarding school, when they grow up, when they graduate, what kind of jobs do they do?
Yeah, I think depend on the skill they develop within the boarding, who focusing on teachings of the Islam, mastering the Islamic teaching and lessons, so they become Islamic teacher in the village or in the society. But who focusing on the natural sciences, so they can attend the public university, or they can go to other practical or vocations with the special training, so they can go according to the demand of the society in the industry, and other things. So the Islamic boarding school right now try to make what are taught in the boarding school are relevant to the need of the society, so they can accept it by the society based on their skill.
Do you know how many boarding schools are here in Indonesia?
In Indonesia, for instance, the boarding school affiliated with the Nahdlatul Ulama almost 33,000, and other probably about 50,000 boarding school. It's boarding school around 1,000 student. For instance, in my hometown, in my family, they have the boarding school in Jombang. The student almost 10,000. So this is a big,
many.
Many.
Talking about Islam, we know the Western media always say that there is a genocide happening in China's Xinjiang autonomous region because Uyghur people live there. what do you know about China's Islam situation?
Yeah, of course, we have to be careful to see or to read the news. Yeah, what really happened in the society. Uh, we, for instance, the issue of the Uyghur of the what happened in Xinjiang. It says really there is what accused of having the camp, yeah, for putting the Muslim in certain camp and doctrinize with the Chinese identity. But yeah, of course we have to really know what really happened. We can ask our friends, we can ask our colleagues, and then it has really happened or not. So something that is also yeah, imbalanced information because of certain interests. So, but if we believe that we share the same culture, share the same, I mean, way of life to live in harmony, so we believe that something not happen, yeah, because all the citizens, regardless of their religions, will contribute, yeah, to the country. So this is, I think, more important, and the China government, I think, know better about their citizens.
I have one last question about religion, because fear comes from not knowing,
Right, right.
and death is what we really don't know about.
Hmm.
What does God or Islam say about death?
It is, I think, very important, yeah, to see. For instance, people say terrorism, radicalism was caused by the religions. Then I do not believe that if someone really understand deep religion can practice the terrorism, because as long as they understand the religion very comprehensively, then they will never end to the radical or violence. And yes, of course, something that the very the issue of death, for instance, no one know when we will die. Is it that will give us, will stop all things, yeah, what we already built, what we already achieved, then all destroy because of that. So that's why the religions, Islam teach us, when we die, then we will start the new life. So we don't, I mean, we do not lose things that we already built, because our generations will continue that. So we just live for our generation, but we prepare for the eternal life, yeah, in the hereafter. So yeah, not make people cry for a long time because of the deaths. Who prepare for the Muslim are very well to prepare for the death, in the when they will pass the death. So they prepare, and they try to make a close relation with the God, and when the deaths come, they feel happy, but they don't want to stop their life, yeah, for instance by suicide, yeah, and yeah, but everything they have to face, in patient, in good condition, still hope for God, and God will give the good thing for us. Always see the positive thinking what happen, and in the future, the life in the life eternal life, then we will get the happiness. So yeah, this is the promise in, yeah, Islam, that, yeah.
You said you invited the ambassador of China, Lu Kang, to your university. What did he say there that impressed you most?
Yeah, at that time is very interest. We talk about the Middle East, and we want to know the perspective of China on the Middle East, because we see that the influence of the U.S. Already declined, and there is new trend in the Middle East to have a change situation, that they can stop the conflict, they can stop the war, and they can develop cooperation. So how the China play in this role? Yeah. So I think very good to see. And the business of China in the Middle East is always growing. The cooperation with the country always growing, and also the important thing is how to mediate other faction or group that are in conflicting each other. Then they come together to build the region, because the Middle East for the long times under the imperialisms by the Western imperialism. Then now other people say, oh, this is under the new imperialism. So they are always make divided between the people in the country. They fight each other. The diversity cannot make them united, but make them in conflicts. When the other power come, try to divide, then to rule the country and take the resources, not try to share at the equal level. So that is the history of the imperialism. So then I think it's very good to have the Middle East country to live in harmony, respect their neighbors, not threaten each other, but how they can share their resources, human resources, natural resources, to build the prosperity. So this thing, I think the alternative of the how to deal with the Middle East through soft power rather than the half powers. Yeah, this is we learn a lot from the ambassador of the China, to see the role of the China in that region.
Okay, the last topic is about the Chinese New Year, and in Indonesia it's called Imlek.
Imlek, right? Yeah.
What do you really know about the Chinese New Year?
My tradition came from the Muslim tradition, from the Islamic boarding tradition, and I have experience when the Islamic New Year or Imlek at the time under the new order Suharto was prohibited. So this is kind of Imlek belong to the China. China is different something at the time, but then the era of the openness came. So we consider to be the diversity in every and each group, ethnic, nation have their own celebration. So we can appreciate to know what it's not really related to the religions that we have to keep away, but part of the tradition they celebrate. So now I think we can see many celebration in other city, depend on the seasons.
The Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year, is not religion related. It's because of the tradition, the fairy tales. But so everyone in the world can celebrate the Lunar New Year, the Spring Festival, and it's also an important occasion for for families to get together. After a whole year of hard work. I want to wish you a happy New Year. The year of the dragon is it's a symbol of strong and power, but it's different from the dragon of the Western image. It's not an evil dragon, but maybe it's a cute dragon.
Cute dragon.
Cute dragon, yeah. I wish you a happy new year and thank
Happy
you
New
for
Year.
being
Thank
on
you.
my
Thank you.
podcast. It's
You're
a
welcome.
really great honor for me.
Thank you
And
for invitation.
I learned so
And
many
happy.
things. And during the Chinese New Year, we we give people present.
Oh, okay.
The red color symbolizes
Uh-huh.
luck, good
Oh,
luck
okay.
and fortune.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it's
you.
Chinese tea. I don't really know what you like, so I have
Ah,
Chinese tea
yeah,
for
yeah.
you.